All right. Good morning, crew. By my clock, it is top of the hour. So we are going to get this show started. Glad to have all of you hopping on here. Some of you leaders hopping on. We just got off another call. So call marathon this morning, but that's all right. Sometimes you got to do it to get the data out. So glad to see all of you hopping on.
Coffee number two. I said that requires coffee number two.
That's yeah. We all got
Yes.
There we go. We got energy in the cup going right now. So time to get rolling. So awesome. All right. Well, let's hit some leaderboards. We got get on the right page here. Got some exciting stuff going on right now. All right. Cheryl Morris. Congratulations, Cheryl. One application, $175.92. Direct to myself. Cheryl is writing, I think that was a kids app, so I'm glad to see you covering the youngins. That's always important, and that's when we all need to make sure we're adding on to our business. Important policies. Jim Arch, one application, $1,070 direct to Stella Dinwiddie. Donna Bates, two applications, $1,620 direct to Spencer Cushion. Sydney Lee, three applications, $2,036 direct to Stella Dinwiddie. Congratulations, Sydney, great job. Stacy Love, four applications, $2,528 direct to Donna Bates. Spencer Cushion, two applications, $2,753 direct to myself. Terry Myers, six applications. Terry actually had app count lead for the week. Anytime you write five or more applications, you're going to have a pretty good week. Six applications, $4,130 direct to Stella Dinwiddie. But number one for the week, leading from the front as always, Miss Stella Dinwiddie, five applications, $4,446 direct to myself. Great week, Stella. Let's take a look at the monthly leaderboards, because we've got already a very solid month going, and this happens to be a 5-week turn-in. So keep that in mind as you move forward throughout the month. We still have another 3 weeks of this month yet to go. So, and that's, guys, just kind of, again, especially for you builders, that's most relevant in writer count. The submit, yeah, we get an extra week. We pump our numbers up. But at the end of the day, obviously, issue paid is where our promotions come from individually and at least partly on the team. But the writer count is where that's a real benefit. You get that extra week to get extra writers in to hit whatever that next level you're going for on a team promotion. So keep that in mind. Leverage that. Man, anytime you get a 5-week turn-in, that is important to leverage that. Top 10 so far month to date for the hierarchy. Terry Myers, 8 applications, $5,233. Lionel Anderson, 16 applications. Holy cow. You want an application rampage there. In fact, is leading on app count for the month. Lionel, 16 applications, $5,738. Spencer Cushion, 4 applications, $5,958. Lisa Camus. I'm thinking that's Cajun, so I'll have to talk to Jenny about that. Lisa had 7 applications, $6,109, direct to Jenny Gray. So the Cajun connection there. I'll have to figure out how to do that. Stacy Love, 9 applications, $7,235. Derek McPherson, 6 applications, $7,238. Adam Patterson, 6 applications, $8,408. Eric Sullivan, 9 applications, $8,446. Jenny Gray in the number 2 spot with 9 applications, $9,381. Number 1 by a long shot, our very own Stella Dinwiddie, 14 applications so far on the month, $16,670, leading the entire hierarchy. I don't want to jinx it, but man, that's just lining up for a 40K month. That's just looking very close to a 40K month. That's right, Stella. From my lips to God's ears, right, Stella? 40K.
On my knees praying every morning for 2 years.
Absolutely. Doing a great job, putting the work in. That's awesome. All right, guys. And like I said, I mean, gosh, already for our hierarchy, we're at 114,000, actually just about $50 short of 115,000 only in week 2. And yeah, that's solid. So, and excited. We just those of you builders, we just got off a call and we got some great things coming down the pipe on the building side. Quick note for those of you who are new, who you know, coming in and you're looking at this business and you say, you know what, I can see these people talking about building a team, building an agency, and I can start to see some of those numbers, and I'm interested in that. Talk to your upline. What does that take to get into that? What's that take to get started? A lot easier than you think. What we tell everybody is just a lot of consistent activity, and we can walk you through the mechanics of how to actually do that. So keep that in mind. Announcements this morning. I don't have anything, but Stella, I wanted to, do you have anything for your group that you need to highlight?
Yes, thank you so much. I have something for the whole group. Like, I am so excited to see all these new writers that consistently we're starting to see more and more people starting to write more consistently, people figuring it out. And I know how that feels when I first started, and I'm still trying to figure out how to write a 40 grand month. So thanks for bringing that up. But like Jim, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I'm so proud of him. He's just been consistently pushing through. And Cheryl, like, that is amazing. That is so amazing. I don't want that to go unrecognized, because that is just so amazing. Like, I words I can't express. And I love that you're reminded about the 5-week turn. And I would just like to send a reminder that we've already got rooms booked, and we've so get your airline tickets taken care of as soon as you can. I know some of you already have. Awesome job. Shout out to, I know Terry told me that Ayana did, and Terry and I got, you know, some rooms, and I know many of you are getting ready, but they're gonna get, you know, fully booked. And I was talking to someone else who told me, I think it was Jim, who said he didn't want a room with anybody, he wants his own room. But those of you looking for somebody to room with, you know, reach out to us, reach out on Crew, because I know my very first one I went to, I didn't have enough money for my own room. And there was someone else new, another female that I, you know, who said, hey, you can book with, you know, we can get a room together. And I shared the costs. I didn't care. So if that's something, if you're in that position because you're new and you just haven't fully figured everything out yet, I just want to encourage you, use your resources. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Stella.
Something too, Chris.
Yeah. Please do. Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to shout out Susan and Victoria, who are on the call right now. Susan put in her first 4 apps over the past couple of weeks, and Victoria just purchased her first set of leads this week. So I'm excited about those 2 ladies getting going. They're full of fire and compassion for this business. So I'm really excited about their future. So yeah,
absolutely. Love that. Yeah, we love
celebrating. But we're working on that.
That's all right. That's all right. Hey, when you get your name up on the leaderboards, then you have to be on. So that's no, that's great. You know, we love new writers. We welcome you, and this is a phenomenal business. We're actually going to talk a little bit about that this morning. But yes, thank you both for coming on. And to your point, Stella, yeah, so I was remiss in saying that there was no announcements. There's always a standing announcements, and that's every week, and we actually need to really turn our focus towards Denver. And I know it's in the end of August, so, you know, it's easy to say, well, that's, you know, another 5 months away or whatever. But guys, that's the Super Bowl of our business right there. I mean, that is the biggest event. It's the most impactful event. So hats off to all of you who have already hit the done button, made the commitment. Get with your mentor. Most of us have gone ahead and went in and purchased discounted tickets so you can save yourself a little bit of money. And so check in on that. with your upline and get access to the discounted tickets, and then like you said, get the done button. So Wednesday, it was this on the builders call or the national call? Somebody's gonna have to remind me, but they were talking about, and Casey said this, and I remember distinctly, it was Casey said, we're kind of trying to decide what to do because we're pretty sure we're going to sell out. So, so I would be in the camp that already has everything done, so you don't have to worry about if they're going to try to make arrangements for those who are outside looking in on the sellout. So get involved, and that includes on the hotels, guys. There's several in the area that have discounts. That we're talking about thousands of people coming to the same event. So there's only so many hotels and some right there in the vicinity. Those are going to book up and book out pretty quick. So make sure you get your lodging secured. We don't want you having to ride the bus in from somewhere out in the suburbs to be able to attend conference and have to plan on logistics. So take advantage of everything that they're setting up to make sure that you've got your discounts and can attend this event in the most affordable way possible, but get something that's going to have major impact on your business. So, and then guys, this is going to be very, very relevant because this is one of the things I wanted to share with everybody this morning. And my title may have sounded a little bit ominous, and for good reason, because I think it is a little bit ominous. I don't know if you're following what's going on in the world. Now, I don't advise anybody to watch news, especially cable news. That's a waste of time. It's a formulated, packaged set of stories that they put out to basically keep you come back to them for more. But you do need to pay attention to what's going on in the world, and there's some odd things going on in the world. Obviously wars and rumors of wars, and we already know the stuff that's going on around the world. Issues with, economy. I don't know if you've paid attention. If you're not tracking the stock market, which is kind of on the side, a little bit of a hobby, I follow what's going on in macroeconomics and economics in general. And, the stock market, NASDAQ had a 2% drop from January 1. And then bounced back. Anybody else see it? I just know from Sydney.
Yeah, it's getting a little choppy. You might want to do what you did last time and hook up to 2 different places, because your face is frozen in a really awesome smile. So
great. Well, that's a good news. That's as long as it's frozen and a good smile. Hang on a second. Let me dial in on the audio. Hang on just a second. Apologize, guys.
No worries.
I got new internet coming, so it can't get here fast enough.
No worries. I just want to also recognize Sydney. I don't know if those of you weren't on the national call, not this last Wednesday, but the one before. Just, congratulations again on the leaderboard with the disability, and with, there was one other, I can't remember off the top of my head. But, I think, I love seeing all of your names, every one of you guys. That's so amazing. So I just didn't want you to, for anybody that missed it, I just thought I'd fill in a little bit of void while Chris is debt-free life. Yes, debt-free life. Way to go. Thank you so much, Stacy. Yeah. And if anybody has a joke they want to tell while we're waiting for Chris.
Did you hear what Chris Rock woke up with Monday morning? Fresh Prince.
Oh my gosh.
What did one plate say to the other? Dinner's on me. Stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, I got to get this fixed sooner than I thought.
Yes, you do, Chris. Hurry.
Chris, help.
Please. We're going down quickly here.
We accomplished our goal. You're all smiling and laughing.
We're going down like the Titanic. Hurry up, Chris. Hurry up.
I love that movie.
Okay, I have one.
Let's hear it.
What did the baby shrimp say to the mama shrimp when she asked him why he wouldn't share his toys? I'm a little selfish.
I love it. What did the daddy tomato say to the baby tomato? Hurry up and catch up.
Okay. Chris is back.
All right, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me? All right. I can see things spiraling out of control, and there's nothing I could do to stop it. So, it's a helpless feeling. I told you it was going to be a doom and gloom call. Luckily, everybody's going to be telling jokes while the ship goes down, so that's good. That's good news. All right, everybody can hear me fine? I can still see you, so yeah, as long as you can hear me, give me a thumbs up, and we'll rock and roll. All right, awesome. Cool.
You're good.
All right, apologize for the internet issues, but again, Lord willing, we will have new internet by this time next week. So, all right. So where was I? Okay, so just talking about economics, what's going on, the stock market. We've had a NASDAQ 20% drop. Dow was about 15, S&P was about 16, 17. Russell had about 12, 13% drop. I mean, basically it's across the board is what I'm trying to convey. Had a bounce. It's been pretty choppy, but it looks like it's rolling over again. And, I mean, Deutsche Bank just came out, one of the first major international banks, coming out and predicting a major recession, and not just in the U.S., but basically worldwide. And so there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, guys, and serious social and economic times. A lot of civil unrest. There's obviously supply chain issues. And it's no longer any secret, or it's not a conspiracy theory, but because of all the supply chain issues, that's now leading to food instability, food shortages. That obviously we all see it in our grocery bills. You've seen the inflation hit our stores. And, who knows what the future is, but there's certainly some credible sources that seem to think by end of year, into next year, what we're seeing now could be exponentially multiplied, in food costs. Now, why am I leading into all this? Why is this be a downer and get you all depressed? No, actually, it's to say, we are in a business that historically has been a safe haven. We are in a business that historically, when times have gotten rough, has actually maintained, or even in some cases done very, very well. We are in an industry that is all about safety and security. And yeah, I see recession proof. Now, are we completely proof? No, probably not. And we'll talk a little bit about that, but there are ways to make ourselves as recession-proof as you can be. And honestly, of all the industries in the world, there are a few that are kind of considered, air quotes, recession-proof. And insurance, not financial services, but insurance is one of those, because financial services are obviously, they're on a roller coaster ride right now. And so we're in a business that will help insulate you to some degree from what's going on. And honestly, if you're going to go through these times, which looks like, and again, who knows what the future is, but it seems to be there are no certainties, but only probabilities, and the probabilities seem pretty high that we are going to be seeing some rough waters ahead. And so what does this mean for us? Well, what this means for us is there are things that we are able to control or that are within our control. Number one, our personal life, personal financial stability, personal success. But number two, our clients, and probably reverse that, most importantly, our clients, and then by taking care of our clients, us. As Zig Ziglar says, help enough people get what they want, and you ultimately will get what you want out of life. But as all this stuff is coming down the pipeline, guys, I put the conversations that you're having with clients into a new context. Literally, the conversation that you're having with them today could be a lifesaver, and that's not. I don't think that's hyperbole. They could literally be a lifesaver for them in the future. By helping them with the products, it could be, that mortgage protection that you put in place for that family. And that breadwinner, whether it's the mother, the father, the whatever, dies in the middle of a economic downturn. And think about these conversations that we've had. And we've all, and guys are the worst. We sit down and we were sitting with a couple, and the guy says, "Well, she'll be all right. She can go get a job." But what if she can't get a job? What if there are not jobs available? Or the kind of jobs that you can support a family on because the cutbacks are so severe due to recessionary environment. What if our mortgage protection that we put in place today, 12 months from now, literally means that family is not living out of the vehicle, trying to go find family that will take them in.
Chris,
that will.
Can I just remind people,
Yeah.
I hope you're taking notes, because I'm taking notes. Because this is huge what you're saying. These are the kind of questions that I'm going to start asking. This is huge. So I'm so sorry to interject. I see some people taking notes, and I just couldn't help but man, if you're not asking these questions, you're doing yourself a disservice. So please continue. The last thing I heard you say is, what if she can't find a job?
And that's actually, we talk a lot about the who, what, when, why, how, but that what if, because that's going on in a lot of people's minds right now. What if? And for those who were paying attention to the market, and they saw that 20% dump, and what if my retirement that I thought was going to be there in 5 years, and I had this vision of being able to spend more time with the grandkids and not have to punch that clock at 6 a.m. in the morning, and all those things. What if? What if that mortgage protection again keeps that family in a home, and keeps them fed at a time when people around the world literally are having trouble putting food on the table? What if? What if that DFL policy that you teamed up with Sidney Lee on, and we got them debt free within 12 to 18 months, about the time that things really ground down, and at a time when interest rates would have jacked up and they couldn't even afford the payments on their credit cards because they didn't get it paid down fast enough. Now they don't have a credit card. Now they freed up those funds to be able to survive on. What if? What if that question you ask them, by following the symmetry system at the end of your appointment, and said, are you comfortable with your retirement being safe from market loss? And the client said, well, no, I'm not comfortable because it's been pretty rocky since the start of the year. What if that rollover that maybe you didn't even do, but you got them into the QRS system, and you let the pros at Quality Retirement step in and say, hey, here's what we could do to protect your assets. And while everybody else is watching their funds dump by 50% or more, they're sitting there realizing, man, we dodged a bullet big time. And now we have funds to carry us through. What if you did your job and took that step? Because guys, you know, I mean, to chase a little bit of rabbits here, but, you know, as I was looking at the numbers, I saw that 20% drop on the NASDAQ and it bounced back 15. Well, a lot of people think, well, if you had a 20% drop, you know, 100,000 went down to 80, 15 bounce, you're back up to 95. That's not true. Because this is the thing that the retirement industry plays these games with numbers. Because if you have a 20% drop, you know, 100,000 drops down to 80,000, you have to have about a what's the math on it? About 29 to 30% increase to offset your 20% drop. Because if you have a 20% drop from 100,000, again, you just basically $20,000 off. You come in at 80,000. Even if you had a 20% increase, your 20% now is off your new base, which is 80,000. That only takes you up to 96. You have to over-index what you lost. And so when you look at mutual funds, a lot of times you'll see that. It'll say, well, we've averaged, you know, 15% for the last 10 years. Well, when you look at the down years, if you had a year where you had a major dump, you're going to find a lot of times those funds aren't even back to even. Because again, once they drop, you have to over-index on your returns. The numbers that I was looking at this morning, that I read, 25% loss requires a 33% gain to make up what you lost, just to break even. So if you have somebody that's in a retirement fund and they ride that roller coaster all the way to the bottom, guys, I remember in 2008, 2009, 10, when we had great financial crisis, there's a lot of people who were ready to retire that literally worked another 5 to 10 years. Because, you know, yes, the market bounced back, but honestly, it was about 7 or 8 years before a lot of those people even got back to even. So they couldn't retire. So a lot of times that question you ask them is literally a life-saving question for them. So that's my challenge to you all on screen here, is to commit to professionalism. I love the call with Andrew Jimenez on Wednesday when he was talking about, you know, the struggles that he was going through, you know, going almost a month with no sales. But one of the statements that he made, and I wish everybody would adopt this mindset, but he said, I kept working on my craft. Craft, that word. You have to treat this, that, you know, look, everybody comes in at different levels. Some people come in and blow the doors off week one. Some people it takes, you know, month one, you know, year one before it clicks. But the point being is, that's why we say the people who just stick with it, figure it out. Because it is a learned process. You know, yes, are there some people that have maybe some natural talents or natural abilities that help them? Sure, as with anything. But one thing about this business is I'm confident anybody can learn it. Anybody can excel in it if they're willing to put the time and the effort into it. This business is a great equalizer. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what your background is, what your knowledge base is. You can be successful in this business. The only difference between you and somebody else is how much time that you're willing to put in, how much you're willing to overcome, you know, what could be, you know, an area where maybe it's a little bit harder for you to grasp on. Are you willing to put in the work and roll up your sleeves? So, you know, we have with us here, and, you know, while all this uncertainty is going on around the world, and while it seems like we've got some dark clouds on the horizon, you know, we have, to me, what is the best opportunity to weather that storm. Is it going to be smooth sailing? No, honestly, I could see us hitting some rocky patches here. You know, from as a business, as an industry, I think it could potentially be serious enough that, you know, our industry faces some pullback that maybe we aren't used to. But at the end of the day, I would still be rather riding out the storm in a business like this than I would anywhere else, any other industry, bar none. Because this one is somewhere where you can go out and not only can you provide for yourself and your family just through a little extra hard work, maybe a lot of extra hard work. I mean, you always can't control your outcomes, but in doing so, you are literally saving people from their own storms, from their own rocky, being dashed on the rocks of finances. But we have to be intentional about that. We have to be intentional. We have to be intentional today. It can't be something that we say, well, we get there, we're going to figure this thing out. We have to be intentional about it today. And so as you're having those conversations, guys, number one, follow the system. Be asking the questions. And I love, Stella, that you piped in, because the important part about landing this, and this is why we spend so much time, and you probably get tired of hearing it, man, it's the key to this business. It's the key to success. And that is getting to their why and helping them understand their why. Because there's always a why, but a lot of times they don't even understand what their why is. And that's up to us to help them get there. So we ask those questions: the who, what, when, why, how, what if? What if? Because it's always going in the back of their mind. They have the what ifs going on. But like all of us, we get busy with life and we just push that stuff aside. I'll deal with it later. I'll figure it out later. When I get there, I'll figure it out. Guys, some of this stuff is serious enough that you can't figure it out once you get there. You're going to be, some of these people are going to be in serious trouble, and they're going to be so overwhelmed they won't be able to figure it out. That's why we got to have a conversation with them today. That's why we have to step up and ask the hard questions. That's why we have to get better at what we do to help them avoid that pain down the road. So when we ask the questions, and again, following the system, and I should have printed them out. We were kind of running a little bit behind this morning. I meant to have them in front of me, but the DFL questions, would you be able to better and more easily retire if you did not have debt payments? It's an obvious question, but a lot of times people haven't really thought about it. Would you be, the retirement question, is your safe money safe from market loss and in the uncertainty of the markets? Look, for somebody that's excuse me, that's a trader and is in the market and they're in and out, you're going to get some people who say, yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'll be able to handle it. That's not a client. What we're looking for is people who say, yeah, this has been really rough. I've been watching my accounts and I don't know what's going to happen. I just don't know what's going to happen. Well, would it be beneficial for you to have a conversation with somebody that can tell you about how they can protect your current savings from loss, but also help you grow in uncertain times? Is that something that you would be willing to at least listen to? And again, obviously, I'm paraphrasing. Follow the system, but that's the crux of the question. And so by doing that, you can literally put in place something that will save them down the road. And it's important to not only ask those questions, but number two, this is where I think we can help ourselves avoid those rocky times with our clients. Guys, one of the things that you always have to do when you are selling any insurance for that matter, but especially anything life-based, because again, it's based off a future event that we all know is going to happen, but we block it out of our mind and say it will never happen. Okay, so because of that, it is critical that you lock down your policies as you're closing it out. Guys, don't skip the lockdown step. And the reason why I'm emphasizing that right now, because when things get bad, people start looking for things to cut. And if this is not important enough to them, if they don't make the connection why this has to move to the top of the list, it'll be gone like that. That they will cut it in a heartbeat, and we've seen it. So that's why it's important. We've got to lock it down, and we've got to strengthen our lockdown language. A lot of times, it's like, well, if you had a flat tire or something. Now we've got to take it a little bit step further, guys. If the economy slows down and things get tight, this is here to protect your family God forbid the worst should ever happen. The last thing you want is something happening to one of your family members in a down economy, and then they're trying to figure out, can you afford this? Are you willing to make the changes financially? So you know, is it more important than the $5 coffee that you're getting every day? Are you willing to keep this?
Hey, Chris,
Stacey,
one thing I was thinking
unmuted. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Chris, one thing I was thinking about is you're talking about the tie down is the policy we write for the families in the first place. So there are times when, like, we know we can push a larger policy on them and they're okay with that. But asking them the question about longevity is also really important. So sometimes, even though they're willing to take out a larger policy, at times it's more comfortable financially for us to write something smaller for them so that policy stays in place, and then tell them we'll reach back out in 2 months to talk about increasing it. So let's get something a little bit smaller in place that I think you're going to be more comfortable with. And then let's talk in 2 months about adding to that particular policy. Then they feel comfortable. They feel like you're not trying to oversell them because they're interested. And at the same time, you help to build trust. And then if something does come up, they're going to reach out to you more times than not before they go directly to the carrier and cancel that policy.
No, that's awesome. Thank you, Stacey. Yeah, that's perfect. That is the perfect way to address that. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, we need to convey to them, this is the last bill you need to cancel. I mean, you will cancel literally everything else in your life, down to the point, even your car insurance, before you cancel your life insurance. That's how important this is. And that comes from those conversations, guys. That's why we always, I beat the drum on the why, but that's because it's critical not only to getting the application in the first place, but it's critical to getting that application to stick and to stay. And so I love what you said, Stacey. Yeah, let's make it super comfortable for them that, you know, long term they're going to stick with this. Now, think about somebody who maybe is well off right now financially. And this is a little bit advanced sales. So for those of you who are new, don't try to chase this rabbit trail. I mean, you know, you'll build up to this. But what if we had somebody who had the resources and the funds right now to maybe fund an IUL? And we talked to them about, hey, what happens if you were to, say, lose your job and you needed a $5,000 loan? A $5,000 loan would make all the difference in the world for you and your family, just to bridge a short-term gap. And literally the difference between you going behind, you know, 30, 60 days late on payments, which started affecting your credit, which starts a snowball effect of you being able to afford stuff in the future, or I have a loan that I can tap into that keeps everything paid. It gets me through that rough spot until I can get back on my feet. And guess what? That IUL, yes, there's a little bit of interest charged on it, but typically it's a pittance. You know, it's maybe 1% net after you factor out what the policy is paying versus what you're paying in interest. And that could be the same for even just a whole life. Now, keep in mind, a traditional whole life is not going to build cash value that fast. So, you know, don't sell it for that standpoint. But again, put somebody in an IUL who's got the funds right now to do that. But again, be intentional explaining why we're doing this. Don't just say, hey, this IUL is a great place and you accumulate a lot of money. Build that bridge. What if that job in your family right now that you're doing really well, but what if the economy slows down? You know, and guys, this is where it kind of, it really, paying attention to what's going on around the world will benefit you in your business. Because if you get somebody that's in let's say, for example, real estate, somebody that's a real estate agent, and you're talking to them, well, guess what a recession does to the real estate industry? It taints it. I mean, it you know, literally that is, for the real estate industry, that is an event that separates the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. In other words, the people that have sticking power are going to weather through that, but there's a lot of people in real estate that are kind of there to get rich quick because it sounds like an easy way to make money. And we see it in these cycles. You see real estate offices literally closing down. because they can't keep agents, because they can't get listings. But my point in saying that is if you're paying attention to your clientele and you're thinking through this process, why am I recommending to them what I'm recommending? What is it going to do for them? So it could be as simple as just protecting them from the eventual loss, and that should be at the core of everything. So never sell something to be more than what it really is. Again, at the fundamental, any life insurance is always about protecting life. But there are these things that we can do, and the industry, to its credit, has evolved enough where we put products in place where it can do the fundamental, protect life, but it can also provide extra benefits for them as they move forward into uncertain times. And so, yeah, guys, I mean, again, I want this to be cautionary. I don't want it to be, a downer call by any means, but I just want us to think through this and make sure that we have not only, we have our clients' best interest at heart, make sure that we're taking care of them, setting them up for what's, what potentially could be coming, but also protecting ourselves and our business. Make sure that we're doing business the right way today to make sure that we have a solid business tomorrow, and make sure that what we are doing in the way of activity, and guys, take this also on the building side. I know a lot of you really are rolling up your sleeves and getting ready to build. We've already started that, build hard and fast, to try to build massive teams. But this takes on a new element of importance when you think about the number of people that we can help get out of industry that may be decimated by an economic downturn and move them over. Helps them, helps us, builds a better business for everybody. So I think the important thing, though, is, guys, obviously nobody can predict exactly what's going to go on, how it's going to go down, this or that. But what we can say is, given, this industry in the past and having been through ups and downs, keep in mind, the insurance industry during the Great Depression is actually responsible in many ways for keeping our government afloat during that time. There are stories of major insurance companies that, through bond sales, through basically loans, giving money to U.S. government to continue operations. This industry has been through depressions. It's been through wars. It's been through everything. And, because of the way that we have been structured and the fact that we are a very conservative industry, we require greater reserves than just about any other financial entity out there. Because of that, we weather these storms. Now, again, there are no certainties, there are only probabilities. And so that's what I lean on, is that the ability for us to weather another storm, whatever that may look like, whether it's small or large. When I had these conversations with somebody like Scott Mank, who's been in this business, 35 plus years, been in long enough to have gone through some major downturns. I mean, he came into the business at a time where interest rates were, 20%, for a home loan. And so, we're having people flip out over 2 basis points, raised here in the last 30 days. And that's, but we're still sub 5%, where, at a time where things are 20+%. And he talks about, hey, this industry weathered the storm. And so that's just my encouragement, but more importantly, it's not just encouragement, but it's take ownership of what you have here at your hands, at your fingertips. Something that you can create this to be whatever you want it to be, whether it be just a stable source of income through uncertain times, all the way up to a business that can survive and thrive when it seems like everything else around you is burning down. And, I really believe that we have the opportunity to really put our clients in a better place, to help them through this time, but also the people that we're interviewing that are looking for something, looking for that career that has meaning. And that's a big thing. So many people are looking for meaning. Guys, this industry has more meaning than about anything that I can think of. That's why we always say, tell those stories. The stories that you hear on the national call, the stories that you hear in individual team calls, people sharing the impact of a policy that they wrote and a client that came back and got a payout from that plan that they put in place and how it affected that family. So, guys, that's what I've got to share for you this morning. I'm going to stop here, kind of open the floor. Anybody have any thoughts, questions, things that they would want to share about our topic for today?
I just
Chris,
want to.
can you hear me okay? Oh, sorry. Sorry, Stella.
Oh, mine's really super fast. I just want to comment. I love your comment here, Sydney, on the debt-free life concept is how McDonald's and Disney founders funded and started their businesses when they couldn't get funds from banks. That just speaks volumes to me. That's all I wanted to share. Go for it, Spencer.
Sorry to
No,
interrupt. So two things. I think we went through this a little bit before when I first came in many years ago, but I would say there's another concept to beyond this. Final expense. We can pivot to final expense because you're talking with seniors typically that have fixed incomes regardless of what is going on in the economy. So that's also good. The other thing that I would say on the IULEs, the Mutual of Omaha, this was the product I went over several weeks ago. Chris had me talk on, and we went pretty quickly, so you may have missed this. But the nice thing about those, typically, especially the Mutual of Omaha National Life, is that it works off the average S&P 500 60 years. So it's unlikely that an event for 1 or 2 years is going to impact it that much, if at all. And right now, I think it's at 5.9, something like that, % on the IULs. Matter of fact, I just put a client in one a couple weeks ago, and his girlfriend called me yesterday and wants to do one because of that element. That she's got potential with finances moving down the line. So those are two things to highlight with the economy, being topsy-turvy.
That's a great point. And you keep in mind, too, just to add to that, the DFL policies, guys. I took a DFL policy myself back in 2018 when we first rolled that program out. Yeah, and we've got, we're now in a position where we're kind of on the home stretch, so to speak. But as a result of that, there's also funds built up within that policy that, the situation comes along that we need to, it is the easiest thing to do to hop on and just type in, I need a loan. And I'm not asking anybody. I'm actually going into my own system, creating a loan for myself and cutting a check and having it sent to me. That's huge, and that kind of, security blanket is nice to have there. So keep that in mind as well. All these policies, especially those that have a significant cash accumulation vehicle, whether it be the IUL, again, tied to or indexed, not tied to directly, but indexed based off what's going on in the markets. Again, not short term, but more long term, or the DFL policies, which are typically a dividend paying participating policy that's got a long view based on what that company's paying. So any other thoughts, questions anybody want to throw out there?
Just real quick, Chris, to all of your points, when you're sitting with your families, I think a good way of just sort of getting into the theater of the mind is to say, when you're talking about the economy, something's got to give. And then that will just go to whatever their insecurity is in their mind.
Right.
And that, because, something does have to give. And when it gives, it's going to be, I had a customer who used to say, the harder you pull the rubber band, the harder it snaps back. And it's ready to snap.
Sure, and I think that's a great point, Jim, because it is kind of common sense. You don't have to have a deep understanding of macroeconomics and what's going on. I think we all, anybody that goes to the grocery store or shops and looks at their food bill, especially if they're on a budget, and they look at what they paid 12 months ago versus what they're paying right now. I mean, that's easy to see. That's tangible. And, anybody that pays attention somewhat, and kind of follows some of the talking heads, and I'm not talking about on the cable news, but I'm talking about, people that write in financial journals and their success and their what I'm looking for, their personal image is tied to how successful they can read the tea leaves. You watch what those people are saying, and then that's where you start picking up on again what's going on underneath. And then when you get a bank like Deutsche Bank that came out within the last week and said, "Hey, oh, by the way, looks like things are getting ready to get shaky," that's a super conservative financial institution that's not just going to randomly throw it out there just for scoring panic points and trying to get more clients to do something. That their words carry a lot of weight, so they don't put that out unless they have a pretty good sense that they are very, very accurate on that. Again, timing is very hard to pin down on this stuff, but when they're saying that, they see things on the horizon that are coming. So again, all the reason I bring that up is just we don't have to create that for the clients. They already see it. It just they see what's going on around them, and again, not that we're manipulating this in any way. It is what it is. So we've got to tap into that and help them navigate through that in the ways that we can help them financially through the insurance products that we offer. Any other thoughts, questions? Yes. Go ahead, Cindy.
Hey, I just want to say thank you so much for this. Is such a really important topic, and I really appreciate all these words of wisdom that you're giving. And Spencer, you had some really, and Stacy, just gosh, really strong points. I would love, Stella, you have got so much wisdom as well. I would love if we've got a few minutes. I don't know what the agenda is. The lockdown is such an important thing, and I would love to see maybe a role play. If Chris, if you and Stella could do something to kind of illustrate some key conversation and more of those questions. I've been taking like massive electronic notes on my computer, and because I can do that a whole lot faster than I can write. And I would love to see, just how that engagement would happen. Especially it might be helpful for the newer people, although I'm one of those people that is not so as new, and I can still benefit from it.
You're amazing, Sydney. I honestly just real quick, the resources that I would go to would be one. I love what Stacy said about asking those questions in terms of, I want to make sure this is going to be a comfortable amount for you. That's a big part of the lockdown. And there's some older SoundCloud audios on that. And then the other lockdown, the best one that I've ever heard of, is, which I feel like we'd all, like, I want to go back and listen to it 100 times. It's with, Terry remembers this, with Ryan Federico and Andrew Jimenez. And they go step by step with when you are finalizing your policy with your client is scheduling a follow-up appointment once they get it, and go through it. And he does a best job that I could ever do in going through that whole lockdown. And it's not just a lockdown. It's a huge benefit to our clients, because how many times they get it and they might have a question. So Yeah, no, the one that I'm thinking of, though, thank you for posting that, Terry, is actually it came from a Facebook. I have it somewhere in an email. I'll find it and try to post it. But I'd be happy to do, you know, role play at some point. I think that you'll benefit more, honestly, just going through those audios.
Yeah, that's a great point, Stella. There's a lot of great resources out there. Keep in mind the lockdown. I mean, yeah, there are some specific phrases that we can use, but again, it's kind of it's. I've always looked at it as it's kind of having the client sell back to you why this is important to them. And how you do that, I won't get into mechanics because everybody's got a little bit different take on that. But I want them, as we go through that process, it's kind of like the why process. You know, when I ask a question, I shut up and listen for them to answer, because that helps them bring up their why. And then when they give me an answer, I respond to the response with another question. But what if, or how does that, or why does that, or, you know, just whatever that response is, I reform that into the question so we can take that deeper. And so I think it's the same to a certain degree on the lockdown, in that we're getting them to, you know, state back to us why they bought it. And you know, and sometimes, you know, it's just as simple as, well, you know, what did we just do here? You know, and let them, well, we put this policy in place, and they start, you know, they start giving you all kind of features and benefits. It's almost like they're selling you on what they did there today. But no, that's great, Stella. I appreciate you bringing that up, because again, our resources, the thing I love about the way our company shares material is there are going to be some things that resonate with you more than others. So I could give you what my lockdown was, and you may try it and it may fall flat just because it doesn't feel authentic. It's not you. Whereas you could go listen to Ryan, or you could go listen to Andrew, or you could listen to Stella or Stacy or Spencer or anybody. You could listen to how they do it, and you could hear something in there that you pick up on, and you're like, yeah, that makes sense, that clicks, and you resonate with it. And then here's the important thing, and Stella, you'll recognize this: take it, practice it, make it your own before you roll it out to a client. Don't practice it in a meeting.
You know why he says this? Because I would listen to everything in the beginning, and I would be all over the place, scatterbrained, like couldn't just master one thing down. So that's why he's saying it, because he used to preach that to me all the time.
Yeah, no, that's and not to pick on you, Stella, but I knew you would reinforce that for me. Yeah, it's important, and we all do it. I'm as guilty as anybody. You hear something on a call like, that is the best thing I've ever heard. That is golden. And then you inevitably, I'm going to use that very next appointment. And you roll it out, and then you listen to yourself saying it to the client. And because it's not you, because you're just kind of trying to remember what somebody else said, and you're trying to almost spit out a line, it comes out as a line. And then you realize, wow, that fell flat. You know, and in doing so, you kind of destroy a little bit of credibility in that situation, because the client knows that you used a line, and you know that you used a line, and so instead of this authentic conversation that you've been having, you try to roll something out and use it as a gotcha, or as a lockdown, or a closing technique, instead of using it authentically. Again, I have no problem with using something somebody else does, but you make sure that you internalize it, you make it your own, and you know how to deliver it in a way that you would normally say it or deliver it. Because if you try to say something else that somebody else said in the way that they say it, it very rarely comes through. All right, gang, any other thoughts, questions? We'll wrap it up here. let everybody get on with the rest of their day, wrap up Friday, and get on with the weekend. All right. Well, we will go ahead and close out the call. Thank you all for being on. Thank you for your participation, jumping on, and thank you all, great leaders, for hopping on and giving your insight and really helping these folks out. Guys, take this and be confident in the business that we are in and what this can do for you, for your families, for your clients, and but most importantly, be intentional about it. It's not going to happen on accident. So, all right. Thank you all. Have a great afternoon or a great rest of your Friday and great weekend. And we will talk to you all next week.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you all.